I used to avoid reading books entirely. Until the age of 27, the only books I ever touched were the ones required for school. The primary reason was simple: I didn't understand the benefits of reading, and no one had ever explained them to me in a way that clicked. But once I finally grasped the value of reading, I couldn't stop. I went from reading no books at all to finishing nearly 2 books a week. Over the past 8 years, I've devoured around 400 books. Here are 3 benefits I discovered along the way. First benefit: reading transforms your life in small, powerful ways. Reading is like exercising for your mind; it enhances every area of your life. And just like with physical exercise, all you need is a couple of minutes a day to start seeing results. Many people believe that making big life changes requires dramatic actions or decisions. But this isn't true. If you wait for the perfect time to make those big decisions, you might end up waiting forever. For example, when I was in college, I always told myself, I can't exercise right now because I'm too busy with classes and my part-time job. But once I graduate, I'll start going to the gym, eating healthy, and maybe even start reading. Guess what happened? After graduation, I had even less time. Did I follow through with my plans? Of course not. I just found more excuses. If something is important to you, start small. Even if you wait for the right time to take those massive actions, you'll still need to begin with small steps. For instance, if you've read Atomic Habits, you know that to build a lasting habit, you should start with just 2 minutes a day, not 2 hours. Whatever habit you want to cultivate, shrink it to its tiniest form and begin there. This principle applies to everything in life, not just reading books. You get in shape by doing 10 push-ups every day. You improve your diet by choosing water over soda. You learn to meditate by taking just 1 mindful breath each day. Look for small gaps in your daily routine where you can fit in some reading. For instance, I used public transport regularly, so I made a rule for myself: every time I was on the bus or train, I would listen to an audiobook for just 3 minutes. Now, you might think that reading for just a few minutes each day is insignificant, and you'd be right, it is insignificant if you only do it occasionally. But on the other hand, success doesn't come from one big transformative action but from small, seemingly insignificant choices made consistently over time. These small choices compound and lead to significant results. Here's an interesting fact about these small daily decisions: they're easy to do, but because they're easy, they're also easy to skip. When you're waiting for someone, it's easy to pull out your book instead of your phone, but because it's so easy, you're likely to ignore it. However, if you consistently make the right choice, like pulling out a book instead of scrolling through social media, you'll start to see the benefits. Imagine you read for just 180 seconds a day and gradually improve by just 1% each time. Over the course of a year, you could finish 25 books. Imagine doing this for 5 years straight. That's 125 books. Reading 125 books is like spending time with 125 of the smartest minds on the planet, learning everything they know about various subjects. Think about how much more knowledgeable and successful you would be compared to your peers. Again, it's easy to ignore these small daily choices, but your life a year from now will be the compounded result of those choices. Success is built through these seemingly boring, small daily actions, not through massive, once-in-a-lifetime decisions. Second benefit: books offer solutions to your problems. Here's what I mean. Do you want to start your own business? Do you want to become more confident in social situations? Do you want to learn how to manage stress or stop negative thoughts? There's a book for each of these problems. This sounds simple, but no one ever explained the benefit of books to me this way when I was younger. I grew up hearing that reading was important, but no one ever convinced me to start. I only became interested when I realized that books could provide solutions to my real-life problems. The first time I understood this was during an internship at a small company. The owner was a 45-year-old man with incredible people skills. Everyone around him admired and respected him. Occasionally, he would invite me into his office to chat over tea, and he always made me feel valued. One day, I asked him how he became so good with people. He smiled, pulled a book off the shelf, and handed it to me. The title was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That was the moment I realized that books weren't just those boring things you had to read for school, they were tools that could help me improve my life. Dale Carnegie's book became one of the first books I read, and from that point on, I was hooked. I couldn't believe how much practical, valuable information could be found in a single book. After that experience, I started picking up books to solve every problem I encountered. Even now, whenever I face a challenge, the first thing I do is find a book on the topic. Third benefit, books are your mentors. When I wanted to learn how to earn more money, I looked around and realized I didn't have anyone in my circle who could teach me. You've probably heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. I thought, I need to find friends who are good with money. But I was disappointed because I didn't have any friends like that. Then I started reading and realized that I didn't need to have rich friends to learn about money. The authors of the books I read became my rich friends. For example, you can't ask Robert Kiyosaki to hang out with you in a park and chat about money, but you can read his book Rich Dad Poor Dad or listen to the audiobook while taking a walk. When you read powerful books, they start to change your beliefs, thoughts, and behaviors. You become the average of the books you read. Over time, you'll notice that you're thinking and acting differently, almost without realizing it. It's nearly impossible to read a lot about the mindset of successful people and then continue to act like someone who isn't motivated or ambitious. Success is contagious, just like failure. The more time you spend with successful people, whether in real life or through their books, the more you'll start to behave like them. For example, before I got into reading, I used to go from store to save a few dollars on my shopping. Or I'd try to do everything myself because I thought paying someone else was a waste of money. I'd say to myself, why pay someone when I can do it myself? But then I'd spend hours completing a small task that someone else could have done in 30 minutes for a small fee. Then I read The Millionaire Next Door, which taught me that if you spend hours on a task worth $10, you're essentially valuing your time at $10 an hour. You'd be better off focusing on bigger things that could earn you much more. Even though I didn't have a lot of money, I started hiring people to do small tasks for me so I could focus on more important things. The point is, books can be your mentors. You don't need to have successful friends or parents to teach you. Your mentors don't even need to be alive. Many great mentors have passed away, but they've left behind incredible books. To recap, the 3 benefits we covered in this video are: 1. Reading is a cornerstone habit. It positively impacts all areas of your life. Start small by finding gaps in your day to read regularly. 2. Books offer solutions. Whatever problem you're facing, there's a book that can help you solve it. 3. Books are your mentors. You don't need successful friends to learn from. You can learn from the authors of the books you read. Finally, I want to address 4 questions I often get asked about books. Question 1. I'm interested in starting to read. Which book should I start with? Pick a book related to the biggest problem you're trying to solve right now. Question 2. What's the best way to read a book? This varies from person to person, but here's how I do it. I don't read, I listen to audiobooks. If the book doesn't hook me within 30 minutes, I stop. Just because you start a book doesn't mean you have to finish it. Some books simply aren't worth your time. If a book is good, I'll listen to it again, but this time I'll also skim the physical or digital version while listening. This combination of listening and reading boosts my comprehension. Question 3. I'd like to try audiobooks, but I lose focus quickly. Any tips? Here are a few. 1. Don't stress about catching everything you hear. This isn't school, and you don't need to remember everything perfectly. Understanding even 30% of an audiobook is better than getting nothing from a physical book you never have time to read. 2. Change your perspective on what reading is. Imagine you're walking in the park and listening to a wise friend. 3. Choose a book that's easy to follow or in story format. Most self-help books are written this way, making them easy to digest. Question 4. I used to read, but I haven't in a long time. How do I get back into it? The easiest way to get back into reading is to commit to a book summary service. You'll get a condensed version of the key points of a book in just 15 to 20 minutes. This will reignite your interest in reading, and you can gradually start reading full books again. Finally, I want to emphasize that books alone aren't a magic bullet. Just reading isn't enough. You need to apply what you learn to make a real difference in your life. Knowledge without action is useless. Pick one thing you've learned from a book and implement it today. If you found value in this video, Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Page Wise for more insights and practical advice to help you grow and succeed. Hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Let's continue this journey of learning and self-improvement together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.